Good, thank you. Okay, I will now call to order the Wednesday, December 17th, 2025, regular meeting of the informational meeting of the Royal Oak Downtown Development Authority. First order of business is to have public comment at this time. Mr. Harrison, you want to go? Okay. Is this regarding your item, or if you're your agenda item?
Yeah.
Okay. No, if something comes up at that point, we'll bring you back up. Okay.
I just want to explain the photograph that has passed out in the packet. Got to go green.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that the two photographs that I had passed out, the first one is of the building, and the reason I'm giving you that is that the packet, the scan of my photograph on the application is rather grainy, and I wanted you to be able to see what it's actually about. The second page is an example of what the roof will look like.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and just mention that roof is well over 50 years old, and it's getting pretty doggone tacky. So,
Okay.
I've been a property owner in downtown Royal Oak for 38 years, and have never asked for anything before. I've painted buildings, but this is quite an expense, so I had to apply. Thank you.
Okay. We'll see if we have some questions when the item comes up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Holbrook, come in? Okay, good. Just wanted to ask. Okay. Seeing nobody else, I will close public comment, and we will move on to the approval of the minutes. Let's see here. These minutes are from November 19th, 2025. Any questions regarding the minutes or changes to the minutes?
I'll move approval.
Motion by Director Dunstan, supported by Director Walker. Anything, adjustments, comments? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next item is the expense items. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I do have one that I would address, but I will refer to anybody. Anything? If not, I will, I guess what I wanted to do was, on the item, the expense item, Royal Oak Holidays, about halfway down. And I guess I would just ask maybe members of the marketing committee if this jives with your previous discussions and approvals moving forward. If it's within the realm of what the discussion was. And I'm just double checking, that's all.
Yeah. For the what?
For Royal Oak Holidays, I see an amount on here to be paid out, $142,500. Yes, please.
You may recall the DDA approved an agreement with JWA to sponsor this event. I believe that is the number reflected in the agreement.
Okay.
We can double check on that. So if that's your question, if
Yeah,
that number reflects what this board approved.
Exactly, and I'm not disputing it. I was just kind of doing a
Making
double
sure
check
it's-
on it, that's
I
all.
believe that's the case, but we can double check that to
Okay.
make sure for you.
Thank you. Anything else regarding the expense items? No actions needed here.
There might have been 2 parts to it.
Okay. Okay, if there's nothing else, with the expense items, we'll move on and, Mr. Kramer, we're gonna, I guess, open up the Royal Oak informational meeting at this time?
Yeah.
Is that your expectation here?
Yes, and here we are. So,
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So with that, just a brief conversation, and to frame it, to remind you that these informational meetings are required through Public Act 57 of 2018. It's for us to talk about the direction of the authority, projects we've completed, projects we have planned. We're not to undertake business during this meeting, but we can hold this informational meeting within one of our existing meetings or also within a commission or municipal meeting. So with that, here we are. The TIF and the development plan. This should be familiar to many of you, especially those who were here for the training just over a week ago. First created on November 1st, 1976 and amended in April 15th, 2004. And the full document, it is now on our website at the link that follows as required by law. Our board of directors, we have a chair and a vice chair that are elected at the January meeting. So this is something coming up for us to keep an eye on. Our goals and direction, and I won't read it word for word, but this is what is written in the TIF plan from 2004. So think about things like the physical improvements or the sidewalks and the trees, the landscaping, also the plazas and other things to welcome people in and create a refuge in the downtown. Retaining traffic on the major thoroughfares, but also improving the off-street parking. I think we've excelled in that goal over the past several decades. Next up, encouraging building facade treatments. We have 2 projects on that today. And actively pursuing the development of a major retail outlet. And last but not least, encouraging the introduction of moderate and high-density housing, which we've also done quite a good job on over the last few decades. So with that, some future projects, the 5th Street pedestrian plan, I think we're all familiar with at this point. Discussion of a business recruitment and expansion fund with more to be discussed, more facade improvements, and continued district cleaning and maintenance. A recap of our 2025 results. We've had over $512,000 of gift cards sent out, of which $252,425 were from the DDA directly as bonus, or just outright, giving people funds like we do at Arts Beats and Eats, the $20 gift card that you can get just for attending. We've continued our district maintenance to the tune of $506,000, advocated for new parking system, several murals have gone up, also facade grants for 3 businesses, and 5 promotions that were organized to attract people to the district, and another 17 events, of which we have close to $1 million that goes into our sponsorships of those each year. So projects in 2026, no surprise, leading the list, 5th Street Plaza improvements. The bids are open as of yesterday, and we're going to be closing that in about a month, and looking forward to seeing what kind of bids we get, which will inform how much work can be done, 1 phase, 2 phases, etc. Looking to expand Spooktacular in the summer concert series, I want to recognize the marketing and business development team for very deliberately over the last 3 months helping us to shift some funds and focus on those events that especially bring Royal Oak residents downtown. And one of our themes, I think, in the year ahead is how do we reignite that love affair between Royal Oak residents and their downtown? Certainly the parking will help. More of the events that appeal to the residents as well is going to be part of that too. We'll continue the gift card promotions to make the cash registers ring, more facade grants, an implementation of a CRM, a contact management system to track all of our contacts, response time, to provide you as a commission with regular reports about how effective we are in our outreach and hitting different goals and milestones that we've set out as a DDA. So I know it's really small, too small to read really, but here are the 17 events that we've held. The far right column, the visits, to give you a sense. From the smallest, which may be 600 people who attended the menorah lighting in the last year, up to the largest with over 300,000 attending Arts, Beats, and Eats, as we're very familiar. And bottom line number, just shy of 700,000 visits at events that the DDA sponsors. Which, by the way, on $1 million of sponsorship, that's about a 70-cent customer acquisition cost for each person we bring downtown. Pretty good, if you ask me. Historic preservation, also the facade work. You can see the 3 projects here, all which have turned out really nicely. It's your window, getting some painting, new materials there, new awning, already showing improvement. A little bit of work to finish it off, but I was talking with the owner yesterday, and he's on track to get that done, which is great. Johnny Mustard's looks terrific with their new awning, their vinyl in the windows, a really exciting business from an owner that has another business in town. Sometimes your best source of expansion are from existing owners. Over 70% of businesses are started by people who live in town or already have a location in town. And last but not least, Blue Goat at the bottom turned out beautiful, especially that very artful sign that they have that brings their brand colors out onto the street. New businesses and development, very much part of what we're doing here. Ribbon cuttings along with our chamber partner. I think we have one coming up on Friday, actually, for a new wine shop. Even though it's outside of the DDA, I encourage folks to participate in that. Blind Owl, Ginya, the Ramen Bar, Asal B, Club Pilates, Bella Limon, Gloabi, Ludwig Plus. These are just a few that have opened. Expansions also are something that we want to focus on and encourage, and continued building improvements too. Grants, recognition, and awards pursued. We brought in $15,000 through Main Street Oakland County, a consortium of 32 downtowns of which we're a part. And Main Street Oakland County also brought us through ARPA $311,761 that has assisted with the design and the planning for the 5th Street project. Which has been a big help there. And we still have some fund balance to draw down on that. And last but not least, some of the data here about our investment. And I've given lifetime totals for the DDA from the start, from the 70s, but also for the calendar year to date. So we've seen public investment and private investment. Overall, we're looking at $81 million. Which is really impressive for the annual budget over that period of time, with $7.5 million just in the last year. And I'll let you look at the other numbers. One of them that jumps out to me are the number of new housing units, the 269. Another number that jumps out is the 10,000 hours of volunteer time since the start of the program. And while we have a modest, at the time I wrote this, 164 hours, we've actually had over $10,000 of volunteer time given since September. So I think that's really formidable and a good start and something to grow on. Last but not least, the public improvements that are made are a big part of our success here, and to see 14 of the 60 total public improvements in the last year shows that the city of Royal Oak really gets it and is putting its money where its mouth is, which is always nice. So last but not least, this is an information meeting. No business can be discussed. It's not appropriate to use as a forum, but having said that, I'm pleased to share these results with you and to meet those requirements under the Public Act. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crummer. And I do appreciate your presentation. I think it was very helpful and fulfilled the needs of the informational meeting through the Act and an avenue for our the public to know exactly what the Royal Oak Downtown Development is all about. So thank you for that presentation. At this time, I'm going to close the informational meeting, go back to the table for the regular meeting. Before we get into business, I do want to recognize that we have a new director sitting on the board with us. Mr. Nick Grauchowski, we'll get it right after all the years, but we'll get it right. But welcome, thank you for being a part of this. We look forward to working with you.
Same.
Yeah.
Not that you had a choice.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to regular business. First item is training on TIF and DDA by the Michigan Downtown Association. We've already done this. Did you want to do a recap on this, Mr. Kremer?
I do not, but I do want to offer to you in the packet, we had the PowerPoint, also the one-pager, so some really useful materials there. I think in subsequent meetings and as we work together in the months and the years ahead that, we'll draw from this material, but I do not feel the need to repeat it here. If anyone has any questions or would like to review it, if you were unable to attend, I'd be happy to schedule some time and go over it.
Okay. All righty, moving on then. DDA board appointments. Okay. Go ahead.
All right, so we
please.
do have the memo in the packet, and again, I'd refer you to that. But where we stand right now is looking at the statute and our responsibilities as a board, that we need to have a majority of our members who are owners. That can be either a business owner or a property owner. We do have one resident seat that is available for a resident that lives within the DDA boundaries. And the third category, and this might be a newer term, you may have used it before, is open. And basically what that means, it's someone who's not an owner and not a resident within the district, but they can still sit on the board. And just as long as the resident and the open seats are fewer than 50%, we meet the requirements of the statute. So with that, the terms are clearly laid out, and you'll note that some of the terms are retroactive with ending dates of December 31st, 2024. So certainly that's something, housekeeping, record keeping, that we want to have an eye on. And moving forward, we do have some needs, including to fill a vacancy, a vacant seat, which we're ideally seeking a resident to fill that seat. So I would like to acknowledge the interim city manager for really taking on this issue earnestly, despite having a very, very heavy schedule over the last few weeks, and that there's been some positive discussions. We have had a wonderful field of candidates. I believe it was over 20 candidates that have applied expressing interest to serve on this board. So it's really a buffet of riches, to pick from. And of those, I think some are really standing out and those discussions are having. Just to remind the commission that it is the responsibility of the mayor and of the city commission to select the members who will serve on this commission as directors. So with that, those are my formal remarks, but I'd offer if the interim city manager has anything to add, certainly that would be welcome.
Sure, so as you're probably well aware, the ordinance establishing the DDA requires appointment to this board by the city manager with confirmation by the city commission. We're working on, I think we had 28 applications,
Yeah.
so I'm collaborating with some commission on trying to find some seats. As you know, the hardest part is finding a resident within the TIF, or in the district. We may have some probable candidates maybe, hopefully. But nonetheless, that's expected to happen on January 19th with the commission, and then hopefully fill what seats need to be filled.
Okay.
Wonderful, thank you. So with that, the action that we're requesting, if you would like to move with the resolution, would be to authorize me as executive director to follow up with applicants not selected for the board and try to match them with one of our DDA committees, or finding a role for them to become familiar with the DDA in an at-large volunteer capacity, so that, you know, we have a good pool of future potential board candidates also. So if that was a motion, we would happily entertain that.
Okay. Mr. Dubak.
Yeah, I'll move for the recommendation.
Motion by Mr. Dubak.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Dunstan. Mr. Yazbek.
Is there like a number or limitation on the number of people that you would appoint to these committees, or?
Thank you for the question, Director. I tend to go with the one pizza rule. When you get over 8 or 10 people, more people that can eat a pizza, it's too many. So, so we may have some interesting discussions in the months ahead. If we have all this interest, maybe forming, you know, different committees, or having potentially an at-large opportunity where people just work on a task, for instance, rather than sitting on a committee. So, but again, my optimal is about 8 to 10.
Okay. I did want to mention, when we attended the Michigan Downtown Association training session, we did learn some things regarding the DDA board, and came to find out that some of the requirements are put forth by the state of Michigan. But then there are subsequent requirements that are gathered by the local government body, being the commission. So we may want to, and you know, we would lean on our city attorney, obviously, but we may want to have that discussion at some point about looking at the criteria for future board members. And maybe some of what we have is, the criteria right now might be a little bit old, so we may want to take a look at that. And because I don't want to pass up, I guess my issue is I don't want to pass up on good candidates because they're not qualified for one reason or another. So, but that might be something we might want to look at down the road, because I think we can do that as a local. It would have to be approved by the commission, obviously, but as a local authority, I think we can do that.
And if I could put that in the technical terms and refer back to the memo, that I think, you know, the 50% threshold for owners is the state law, you know, that governs. But where we have that flexibility is probably in the open seats.
Correct.
You know,
That's the way I understood it,
making
too.
sure that we fill those adequately, and then making sure that we're consistent with the law. Obviously, it'll be our priority.
Okay. If there's, Mr. Dubak.
Just one more question about the recruiting volunteers for some of these boards and committees. Is it your intention to ideally place everyone, or identify those with a specific skill or perspective that's going to bring value to the conversation and bring those into the fold?
There will be a skill screen as part of it. So unfortunately, we can't add 28 people tomorrow. But what I can report back to you from the candidates that I've reviewed is that we have some exceptionally talented people here in Royal Oak, and they really cover every aspect of our work. So, and I don't want to get too far ahead of it. I want this to be an active conversation with our existing teams and a future conversation with the board. But I think my preliminary goal in the next month might be to add 1 or 2 to our existing teams, and then we can fan out from there. So, but in an ideal world, you know, we find a volunteer opportunity for everyone who expresses interest to work with us. And that's how we really scale and develop our capacity and our ability to do more and more as an organization.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I have a motion on the table, and I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is Deputy Director appointment.
Excellent. So again, I'll refer you to the memo, but we're very fortunate tonight to have Miss Julia Cagliagar here, who is now on her third official day as Deputy Director. And I'll just say, really from the moment that we met Julia in her interview through present, it's just been an absolute pleasure to have her as part of the organization. I'm going to share one story that really illustrates what a wonderful addition she is. Yesterday, when she was in the midst of getting everything working, the phone and the email and all the things, that she had this instinct to go out and meet businesses. And I thought to myself, okay, well, maybe she'll go out and meet one or two, and I look forward to hearing about that. In less than an hour, she visited 7 businesses in the downtown and came back with a very substantial report with some actionable items, and it really was pretty amazing. So Julia has also been helping a lot with our CRM implementation, the Salesforce and District 360, and quickly becoming an expert in that. So I just want to say a welcome addition to the team. Already is showing some real value, and look forward to a great tenure as the Deputy Director here. So thank you, Julia. And in the memo, as you'll see before you, we do summarize both the expenditure required and the GL that we're pulling that from, and it's both the salary plus an estimated benefits, which is listed there, and it's within our available funds. And the resolution, should you be inclined, is to approve Ms. Cagliagar as Deputy Director, subject to the City Commission confirmation to follow.
Okay, questions? Mr. DeBuck.
Excited to have this addition to the team and have you fully staffed up and moving forward with all of our many, many plans. So I'll move for the resolution as presented.
Motion by Director DeBuck. Supported by Director Van Est. Any discussion? Okay, I'm excited about this also. I think the amount of work that needs to get done this will help to go to that a long way. So I'm very excited about it. So if there's nothing else, call for the vote on the motion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay.
And just as a point of order, if I could request of the city manager for a future city agenda to have this for action also by the commission. Thank you.
Already wrote it down.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on our agenda is the facade improvements. First one being Motor City Gas. You have the information in your packet. Mr. Kramer, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think this is pretty easy up to approve. They're working with a professional sign fabricator and bringing really a high-quality, beautiful addition to their storefront. They've been great collaborators of ours and really, I think, a model business in the downtown. So for us to be able to help them, for us to be able to work in an area that's not Main Street, that's not Washington, that maybe not get all of our attention all the time, I think it's a pretty easy one to approve. Additionally, we can spend up to $10,000, but they're not asking for the full amount. This and the next application were both reviewed by the Marketing and Business Development Committee, which did recommend to move forward with each, and that would be the request that I have for you today.
Was it a review by you?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Director Keith.
Support.
Supported by Director Walker. Any questions about this application? This was reviewed, and not to correct you, but it was the Infrastructure Committee who did go through this.
Apologies, that's correct.
Yep,
Thank
no
you.
problem. And unanimously suggested approval. So if there's nothing else, I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And the next facade improvement is 510 and 512 South Washington.
Excellent. So this one similarly reviewed by infrastructure, who recommended to support, as is our recommendation today. As a point of fact, I do want to clarify that we do not charge application fees for people to participate in our program. There might have been something in the initial application that was used to apply for this that was from earlier. So we're very enthusiastic about supporting this project of a longtime building owner to help the existing businesses there, which are a really important part of our business ecosystem here in Royal Oak. And any fees are not charged by the DDA. They may have a permit fee through the city, but it's de minimis. I believe it's just over $300, which is to be expected. So with that, the recommendation is to approve.
Okay, the board, Mr. Dunstan. Motion by Director Dunstan. Second by Director London. Any discussion? The applicant is here if you have any questions for him. And I'm not seeing any, so I will go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, next item, DocuSign quote.
All right, so this is going to be new for a number of you. It's a project I've been working on behind the scenes with IT here at the city. We have an opportunity to streamline the application and approval process. Particularly, we're looking at the outdoor dining permits that have to be processed each year. Early on in my tenure, so this would have been around September, that we had a very frank discussion with the engineering department about how when the 20 or 30 of these applications come in, it just consumes all of their time for weeks and weeks. And it's an enormous workload. So we sat down over a series of meetings. We were able to simplify and streamline the application process. But then, working with the director of IT, we're able to connect with DocuSign, which has a really wonderful product, which actually will directly integrate with our Salesforce CRM. So if you can imagine that we already have all the information for all the businesses that are seeking permits, we can now manage that entire process within the CRM. So really the goal here is for one-click approval for outdoor dining ordinances, and this is the software tool that's going to help us achieve that. So it's a modernization of the systems, it's saving staff time for the city, and ultimately saving dollars with it, while creating a convenience for our businesses, who I anticipate will be appreciative of that. So because it's an amount that exceeds $5,000, we have to come to the Commission to ask for your support, which we are doing today.
Okay, questions for Mr. Kramer? Director Yazbek.
Is this savings going to be passed along to business owners and applicants?
Yes, I would think so. I mean, we need to have those final discussions working with the city to make sure. But, you know, time savings often is just as valuable, if not more valuable, than the fee savings, you know, associated with these applications. And I do estimate that we're going to be saving easily 100 hours or more, both of staff time and business owner time.
But you don't envision fees going up to applicants, correct?
No, there is not a fee increase associated with this. This is really a way for the DDA to provide service to our members, being responsive to their needs and making things a little bit easier for them, while also making it easier for the city, hopefully.
Mr. Walker.
I just had a quick question. So I
Sure.
think the $7,599 initial investment, but above the $2,000 is blacked out. Is that just the ongoing cost that would be annually, or just trying to understand it?
No, that was actually a complimentary price reduction that was given to us. So the $7,500 number reflects what our total investment is. But because we were able to build that connection with the vendor, and they were very interested in how we were applying this and integrating it with our CRM, that they wanted to provide it to us at a reduced rate, which in government is pretty remarkable and welcome.
Thank you.
So just to be clear, Mr. Kramer, this is eventually going to expand into the other city departments in terms of this is not just for patios?
We are doing a pilot project right now with DocumentSign on the outdoor dining. But because we have the license and the tool, that the potential is to expand it to other departments. But right now, this is a DDA resource being used for DDA purposes.
Okay.
But something we're really eager about and that I've discussed with the director of IT is sharing the use case with other departments so they can see how we've applied it. And, it may be that others choose to adopt this down the road. But this is for DDA purposes.
Okay. So am I missing this? Am I missing is there a suggested resolution here?
The recommendation would be to move ahead with the expenditure, the $7,599.74 to get the license with DocuSign.
I thought you didn't.
I will if you want.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I'll do it, even without a memo.
I apologize, that was an omission on my part, but thank you.
Purchase of the DocuSign, whatever it's called.
Okay, I have a motion by Director Dunstan.
I'll support.
Second by Director Van Ness. Any further questions on this? Okay, seeing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes.
Thank you.
All right. Small Business Saturday debrief.
All right, so those who religiously read your packets know I gave you way too much information about it. So I'm going to do my best to summarize and give you the top level. That we sold over $100,000 of gift cards in less than 12 hours. That in and of itself was remarkable. One business, Hi, had their record sales day for the year. Other businesses reported they were up in sales on Small Business Saturday, while being down for the entire third quarter. So the point I'd like to make for this is for the businesses that really approach this as a retail promotion, as an opportunity to bring customers in to drive sales. Many of them do very well. Some of them do record well for this event. Additionally, the 2,000 canvas bags we put out were very well received. I do want to point out on the visit counts, thanks to our place-based analytics tool, we can tell you within a few people how many visited downtown Royal Oak. And what was really interesting to me is while we were down about 1,000 people from last year's number, that we did have, I think, really more engaged shoppers, more people in the stores, and we certainly had a boost in sales. So going a little deeper into the report, that I want to show from the post-event evaluation that we did, how more than half of the businesses reported an equal or a higher number of sales than prior years. Also from a perceptions perspective, with 1 being the lowest or the worst to 5 being the highest or best. Those that reported 3, 4, or 5, so between being neutral and highest and best, that was in excess of 85% of the respondents. So people had a very positive experience with this promotion overall. We can learn from those stories of those who didn't, and we have had those discussions and gotten feedback to incorporate into future events. I want to highlight for you also that in-house marketing, certainly our gift bags and social media were the primary tools tools people used. But it was interesting how some businesses put upwards of $1,000 of their own money into marketing that day, though the overwhelming majority, 2/3, spent no money on marketing of Small Business Saturday. So what that tells me is they're really relying on us to get that message out there for them. We asked them, what marketing materials of ours did you see? Many respondents, over 57%, said they saw our social media. They saw the video we put out, though it's telling that about 1/3 of the businesses said they didn't see any of our marketing. So I think that's something we need to internalize and take seriously and see what we can do to make sure that we get greater visibility in the years ahead. The volume of sales compared to Small Business Saturday last year, we saw those that were up 10%, 25%, and 50% to be a majority. Those with less sales than last year, 15% of the respondents. Clearly we're going to want to go through that and then do some coaching, gentle coaching with those businesses to help them approach future promotions so that it can be more of a sales driver for them. Last but not least, I want to point out, when we asked the question, will my business participate in Small Business Saturday again in 2026? 100% said yes. So, clearly we have engaged businesses here, that want to see more things like this. Some of the individual feedback we got from businesses is they want to see more collaboration between businesses on different things throughout the year. And I do want to single out one of the comments that I received from one of the directors about the relative lack of our social media from the DDA promoting individual businesses. We acknowledge that we were not robust in that area. It was a choice this year, but that's also why on the agenda tonight we have a draft proposal for social media services, because that's a gap that we need to fill. That's just not something with current staff, either for the DDA or city, that we can adequately cover at this juncture, and that's the reason why the RFP has been brought forward. But overall, on a very short timeline, we began work in September. We delivered a successful event in November. We learned a lot from it, and hopefully it'll lay a strong foundation for future promotions downtown.
Yes.
I just want to point out, it's a national event, so it's not just a Royal Oak event. It's a United States thing. So most people know about it, so they want to support the small businesses. So I don't think the businesses necessarily rely on the city to promote it, but it is sure nice to have the city promote the event so they know we're doing something.
Right. Agreed. Thank you.
Dr. Van Ness.
I had a question. There's a chart showing redemptions of the gift cards per business,
Sure.
and it seems like there's kind of a handful that are outliers with significantly more redemptions than others. Are you aware of anything different that those businesses were doing to draw people to redeem the gift cards in their businesses relative to others, or just the makeup of their customers, or what?
I have to give the director a lot of credit for pulling out that point. And I think there's a lot to unpack there. What I can tell you is unique gifts that had the highest redemptions by far, 87, is probably one of the most militant and best organized businesses I've ever seen. You have to picture a bunch of people in their knitting class there as the gift cards became available, encouraging everyone in the class to apply for the gift cards and get them. And needless to say, I think we have significantly underwritten the knitting cost of many members of the Royal Oak community and the broader regional community as a result of that. I will say with some caution that we want to make sure that this isn't just used as a pass-through, meaning your existing customers get the gift card and they spend it only at your business. We know 51% of people who buy a gift card spend it for the first time in a new business. So if you buy it in a business you already go to and spend it there, it's really not realizing the customer acquisition potential of gift cards. So I think we have an ongoing education process here. But I'd say of the other top redemptions that it largely tracks with the businesses that have put the most into their own marketing and really who leverage Small Business Saturday as an opportunity to draw people in and drive sales. Lily's did a wonderful job. I think they had a Santa on site. Sidetrack Bookshop. They actually had a line of people out their door before they opened, and within the first 10 minutes had a record sales swoosh that came through. They were very involved also in helping with shaping the promotion this year, for which we're grateful. And I could go on and on about each of them. And certainly with present company, we know Right Impressions is frequently, one of the top businesses with Small Business Saturday. In fact, I believe I've heard Director London say it's one of the top sales days of the year. So with that, I think the redemptions reflect the businesses that really see the value of the gift card and understand it. But we have to work the other side of the equation too. We have 80 businesses participating in the gift card program. So what that means is 27 of the businesses had 0 redemptions. So that's an education process that needs to happen. And I'd say of that group, maybe with fewer than 24 redemptions, also some education there and helping them get familiar, making sure they have visual identification for the gift card program on site. If they don't, we need to train and coach their frontline staff. And then we need to track and monitor, to see if they see improved performance over time. Ideally, we want to see every business that accepts gift cards benefiting from these promotions. And we don't want it so skewed that just one or just a handful are benefiting. We want to see that benefit district-wide.
And this reflects one day. This promotion goes on or actually longer. And that's one more thing. Normally this promotion goes on longer, the gift card, and expires almost 4 to 6 weeks earlier this year. And I don't think the public knows that we've been telling our customers when they come with their gift cards, use the one that expires faster.
Right.
And they're like, oh, because I think there should be some education, normally social media, saying we have 1 week left to use your Gifty.
Good point. And we will follow up with that. I do know Yifty follows up in response to Director London's statement that having a tighter redemption period actually increases the redemption rate. Okay. So for instance, for the Arts Beats and Eats, I believe we saw around a 67% redemption, which is decent, but some promotions with a tighter period, for instance, in a prior town, we did a restaurant week. It was 2 weeks after restaurant week ended that the redemption period ended. We had close to a 90% redemption rate. So we're trying to weigh all of these different things. And yes, we are taking a different approach this year. The other big difference that I'd highlight for the commission is that we sold the cards further in advance. We actually launched the sale on November 14th and made it possible for people to spend those dollars during Small Business Saturday. That was a strategic decision that was made this year. And what bore out is that it really did bring quite a few people into the downtown before Small Business Saturday. And we're continuing to see those redemptions. I think our record one-day redemption was around 222, though we're averaging about between 20 and 50 redemptions a day. So this is something we're continuing to track and monitor. We're trying to refine. We're trying to learn from the results. And for the next promotion that we're going to be in an even better position with the data, but also the experience to make sure we get it just right.
Director Yazbek.
Did we not at one point restrict these redemptions to non-restaurant small businesses, or was that just
That's
for
just
Arts
for
Beats and
Arts Beats and
Eats?
Eats.
That's just Arts Beats and Eats?
Yeah. I will say, Director Yazbek, we are looking into a potential promotion with Restaurant Week where we could limit it with the restaurants. So we're talking with WROK and also with Yifty to look into if there's a possibility with that. And certainly fairness and balance between the retail and the restaurants. Ideally, we want to see these benefit all the businesses across the board. And it may not be every event we can achieve that. Small Business Saturday is more of a retail-oriented event. But clearly, were we to do something during Restaurant Week, that'll certainly benefit the restaurants.
Okay, so we have a suggested resolution on the table that pretty much approves the plan and the budget outlined for Small Business Saturday. What's the desire of the board?
I'll move it.
Motion by Director London. Supported by Director Dubuck. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I actually have a question.
Yes.
Do you have a percentage, what the percentage has been redeemed to date?
I'm not going to make that up,
Okay.
but I will follow up.
No, okay, no
Thank
worries.
you.
Just curious. I think last Saturday was equally as high as redemptions as Small Business Saturday.
Interesting. It's going to be somewhere in the 50 to 60% range.
Director Van Ness.
Just one additional comment. I'm glad to hear that it's on your radar to do some, as you described, gentle coaching next year.
Right.
To try to get all businesses more fired up about redemptions and acquiring new customers.
Yep.
But then one of the other, I noticed that multiple businesses commented that they ran out of the tote bags. I don't know how those were, if that was an expensive part. I don't remember the breakdown of our financial investment. And if we could, significantly increase that next year or do something else so they don't run out.
Yeah, thank you, Director. It was a $20,000 all-in budget for Restaurant Week, for Small Business Saturday, and the tote bags were just around $9,000. So I think we could easily increase the quantity. We ordered 2,000. Perhaps we go for 3,000 or thereabouts for next year.
A good thing too, because people reuse them, I imagine, so it's kind of like ongoing.
Yeah, and I will
Mind
say
thing.
the totes were one of the most loved things about this promotion.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. Okay. Moving on, draft RFP for social media services.
Oh, I forgot to say thank you, by the way. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So before you have the draft RFP, I want to share with you, this is modeled after similar RFPs that I've used before. What we're looking for, it's more of a contract service arrangement rather than a staff arrangement. I think with a contractor, you have greater flexibility, and they can give you more services at certain times, but less services at others. So we've laid out the different areas where we want help. There's very clear evaluation criteria in here. Similar to our cleaning and maintenance contract, we're looking for a 3-year time window for a contractor to work with, and a very basic application. But the 4 programmatic areas which we're seeking to build our capacity in are social media strategy and management. So all of the different platforms that are listed there, creating campaigns, having a consistent tone and visual identity, etc. Next up is social media content creation and execution. We want to make sure we have those high quality photos and videos of the businesses, designing graphics for our posts, having some videos and reels and stories, material for paid ad campaigns, etc., and also maintaining our photo gallery. And I do want to share as a little side note, we did have the services of a professional photographer during Small Business Saturday, and we have shared some of those materials, and they're really quite incredible. And that photographer is based here in Royal Oak, so a good way to keep those dollars local. So we hope to see more of that. Third area around website design. Of all of the areas, we're probably less inclined to move ahead with this because currently the city is working on an update of their website, and we might be able to benefit from that process. But there might be a future time where the contractor is supporting us as we're refining our DDA website. And I will note within the city's RFP that there is the ability to create subsites such as for downtown Royal Oak. So we're continuing to follow that process. And of course, we'll continue to be good collaborators and partners with the city as that unfolds. And last but not least, if you've learned nothing about me in the last 3 months, I'm a big measure it guy. So analytics and reporting, working with me to define the KPIs, tracking and analyzing performance monthly, quarterly reports with insights and suggestions, and last but not least, monitoring trends and adjusting content to align with best practices practices and seasonal engagement. So I did want to open this up for discussion before we obviously put something out. And some of the questions I have for you, does this reflect the scope that you would believe would be useful for us? Is there anything included that should not be there? Is there anything missing that should be added? So your feedback is really important, obviously, before we go ahead with anything.
Okay. Thank you. Start with Mr. Gronkowski.
Thank you. Could you please change the header? I think you have an old maintenance and landscape services in the header, so that probably needs to be updated.
Yes.
And I'm struggling to find it. Did I see a proposed response? Oh, there it is, Monday, January 5th. Can you explain, that's a pretty short open window for, what was the reasoning behind that?
We'll happily amend that, probably put it in a month out. So probably when I wrote the RFP that it was much further off than it is from where we sit today. So
Understood. Thank you.
we can delay that for a month and we will correct the header. Thank you.
So I have some thoughts on this, and I don't know if I'm being premature on it. I think most of my thoughts would come at the time that we were to enter into a formal agreement with the contractor. I will say this, we've been through this before, if not twice, maybe 3 times that I can personally remember.
We're 0 for 3.
Yeah, and so I think we, and I don't know whether, I mean, obviously, our marketing committee is going to take a hard look at this, and Mr. Kremer, we have to make sure that that committee is well involved in the contacting and interviewing and so forth process. I think that that's very important. We have made some mistakes in the past. And then I think, like I said, when we get down to actually entering into an agreement, we will obviously have to have Mr. Gronkowski on board here looking at this, because we will need to talk about the number of years, whether this is going to be a 12-month contract or a 3-year contract. We don't want to get hung up in one situation and so forth. So I guess I just kind of want to make sure that we don't rush this too fast, and we tiptoe a little bit here to make sure that we're getting the company, I guess this is the best way for me to explain it, the company that best fits the needs of Royal Oak and what we wanted to accomplish. There's plenty of social media companies out there and marketing firms out there that may be too big for us. And there may be some out there that are too small for us. So I think it's real important that we go through this and find the right group that we can put in the back of our wagon and move forward with. But I think it's a very important issue moving forward, and I know I've had conversation with you, Mr. Kremer, about the importance of getting this social media up and running as quickly as we can, particularly with the parking situation and what's going to be happening in the next couple of months in terms of that. So, okay, Mr. Devon.
Yeah, I'd be happy to take it as it comes in, or we can get all the comments and I can respond however you prefer. But just to directly address your comments, Mr. Chair, wholeheartedly agree to all of the above. With me as the executive director, I will not abide by having contractors that don't contribute. So they will be hearing from me if they're not living up to our expectations. I'd also defer to the city manager that any contract we'd have an exit clause. And I'd also empower the board that if you are unsatisfied, that, you have that right to terminate any contract at any time. So with that, I also want to underscore the city attorney, Josh, who's taken on that role, is developing some standard contracts citywide, and we want to make sure we're aligned with the contract he's developing. And what I can share with you about the city attorney is that very savvy guy, and I know what he's developing is going to represent us very well, and we have an opportunity really to bring forward a model agreement. But I will not bring something to this board that will not deliver results.
Mr. DeBuck.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is an area of tremendous growth for us. There's a lot more we can be doing on social to benefit our businesses in our downtown. I think my inclination is it's a position that's better housed in-house. I think social media is more powerful and effective when someone really knows your language and culture and represents you like from their bones. I understand we're not in a position maybe to have create another FTE at this moment. So moving forward, the RFP makes sense. I think my one question is if our primary need is social media, content creation, and engagement, the web design feels a little tacked on.
Right.
And also there's a lot of shops, small shops, individual operators that are great with social media management that might not do the back-end website stuff.
Correct.
So this RFP might be cutting out a whole portion of that market by having this website piece in there, which we don't even know if that's a priority for us right now. So I'm just curious if you have thoughts on how important that is to have in this particular RFP, or should we really just focus on the management of our social?
Terrific. Thank you, Director. So I would happily amend the RFP to eliminate the website section for the reasons you've cited. And further, I want to add, in the interest of full transparency and disclosure, that I've actively been talking with some of the creatives in our community who have an interest in working with the DDA on our social media. So there may be an opportunity to work with some of the existing media companies in Royal Oak that are also staffing up with their social media. I mentioned to you, I worked with a contract photographer on Small Business Saturday. So I'm committed to finding the person in Royal Oak that gets us, that is going to make sure that our social media reflects the kind of messaging and stories that we want to get out. So this is not hiring a firm. This is probably hiring a really savvy, up-and-coming creative professional. But, we also want to put it out to give people an opportunity to apply. Last comment I'd make is I think the term is a valid concern that both the chair and the director raised. And rather than using the 3-year term as we have for maintenance and landscape services, I might suggest a 6-month term, which gives us flexibility to test someone out, but also an out if we need it.
Yes, Mr. Key.
Yeah, in regards to this, just thinking about budget, right, in terms of like our expectation of, right, it's great to put an RFP out. Do we, and I understand that we might not want to say that out loud right now of what our budget is, but just making sure that we do have an idea of what our numbers need to be so that we can make sure that we don't overstep our boundaries of budget. So just the confirmation that we've got that set aside, we know what we're shooting for, that's what make me feel better.
Yes, Director, I can report to you running the budget actual report, and we're at about the midway point throughout the year. We haven't drawn down 50% of the funds. We have several fund balances that have a surplus at the moment. So we do want to be fiscally responsible, and I have an idea of the line item. It would be less than an FTE, but we also pay for quality. So I think entertaining the services. I can tell you in prior roles, I do have a sense of what the contract rates are. I've done national RFPs and had people actually applying from all over the world and seeing their rates, some of which are astronomical. But I think what our sweet spot here is really finding probably a locally based content creator that we can work with, and hopefully someone probably who's up and coming, where those rates are going to be reasonable for us. And where we're paying that content creator and we're not paying that third to the company, third to overhead, third to creative. Ideally we find someone we're just paying for the creative.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
I agree with Director DeBuck. I think going off the website piece of this is very important, but I also agree with Director DeBuck that ultimately having someone living in the culture makes sense to have that person be doing it. But I think this is good. I just like to make sure we got an out because this body doesn't have a good track record with the social contracts we put out there previously.
Noted. Good. So, Mr. Chair, I think based on the feedback from the Commission today that I'd be more than happy to refine this agreement, and I'll bring it forward with your support to the Marketing and Business Development team at our January meeting. And if we have support there, then potentially we're in a position to make this RFP public, a revised version of this RFP public. But as we've done before, that we can circulate it with the full board prior to making it public, just to make sure that we have consensus, because we wouldn't want to do something that's not aligned with the board's desires and interests. If I have your support, I think administratively I can do that in the weeks ahead.
Okay. Anything else?
I guess I'd make a motion to approve with the amendment as he stated.
Okay, I got a motion by Director Key, supported by Director DeBuck. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes.
Great. Thank you.
And our last item of the evening, the Executive Director's report.
Just going to need a moment, Mr. Chair, to pull it up here. Though I will note it's also in the packet for people who want to follow it there. Okay.
Yes, Director Keith.
Just had a question. Sure. Appropriate time.
Sure.
The lights on 4th Street.
Yeah, that was on my thought
When are we
too.
looking to turn those on?
Do we have an update on that, Mr. Kramer?
Yes, we do. What's holding us off from doing that is 12 inches of concrete. But I can tell you DPS was helping with it, and we're working through getting that turned on. I heard as soon as next week, but I don't want to create false hope here, that there were some infrastructure issues that had to be worked through. But as recently as yesterday, I was checking in on that project, and we're working diligently to try to get that done. All right, so with that, to wrap up the year, and I won't go word for word, I've talked a lot tonight, but I thank you all for your attention. So we have logged 261 projects in the first 3 months with a 62% completion rate. It means that there's $7.4 million of funding requests that have been brought forward in one form or another. So clearly we have quite a discussion ahead about how we'll handle that. Again, thrilled to have Julia Calugar join us as Deputy Director, and really hoping and expecting for some great things. And we'll hear plenty more about that in coming months. We heard about Small Business Saturday. We're going to call that one a success. Next up, the Royal Oak Restaurant Association has presented us a plan for 2026. We'll review that at the upcoming Marketing and Business Development meeting, but there's some really good energy coming out of that group, including for their restaurant week in February next year. Analyzing the visitation by zip code from 2018 to 2025 is helping us to figure out where we need to target our marketing dollars moving forward. So I currently have multiple vendors that are reviewing this data with us so that we can develop some very surgical marketing campaigns and plans. We have finalized the RFP for Fifth Street, open for bids. I've served on multiple city selection teams, including for the new website, the parking director interviews, and recently for a market analysis and economic development expert to provide services. So I think this is really important. You know, we often say our currency is face-to-face here in City Hall. So every chance I get, I'm trying to help out with the team here at the city. We researched an amendment to the Oakland County TIF policy that was recently approved by Oakland County. And again, I want to publicly recognize the city manager for his support and assistance, along with Commissioner, helping to make sure that we're keeping that strong relationship with Oakland County moving forward. And thankfully, we're not adversely impacted by the updated policy from the county. And last but not least, I attended the Sustainable Business Roundtable in Detroit. Was one of the only downtown leaders represented, but saw my colleague Devin Dodge Fry give a really wonderful presentation that was well received. We met a number of people there, and we hope to bring some of those things to the Infrastructure Committee meeting in January, where we'll talk about sustainability more. We finalized the agreement for Taco Fest, signed and executed yesterday, so that project is moving ahead. We're coordinating with Worry Free and DPS. They actually planted 16 street trees in the last month, which I think has had a nice positive impact on the downtown. And last but not least, we're performing a very detailed analysis of past events and visitation, and working with our partners, including the Chamber, the Royal Oak Restaurant Association, and others, the Farmers Market, to help them understand some of the trends that are shaping visitation to Royal Oak, and help them refine and bring forward even more meaningful and successful promotions that attract people, and especially attract Royal Oak residents downtown. Two final items. I attended the Main Street Oakland County recognition at the Board of Supervisors meeting on December 11th. As a first-time visitor to the Board of Supervisors, I will tell you, it's a very unique place, and I was happy to be on hand for that, to take the picture. And recently, Main Street Oakland County celebrated 25 years of the program, and we are a full member of that, so it was nice to represent Royal Oak there. And as I like to conclude every meeting and every report, to date we've logged 283.5 volunteer hours from our current 18 volunteers, valued at $34.79 an hour, for a total of $9,862 of in-kind contributions to the program. And I'm actually pleased to report, as of today, we've now had over $10,000 of in-kind contributions this year to the program. So I want to thank each and every one of you for giving, on average, $547 worth of your time. And thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kramer. Does anybody, Mr. Walker?
I want to thank you for your report, but I just had a quick question. I know this has been touched on in a couple of memos, but I just don't know if you have a brief update you can provide as to how things are going with the installation of the new parking system. By the time that we'll all come together like this again, I believe everything will be online, but I just wanted to get kind of a brief update in terms of where things currently sit.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask my other colleagues for the city here to fill in the gaps, but what I can tell you is the crew is doing a phenomenal job putting the new system in ahead of schedule and their pace every day. Dozens and dozens of these meters are getting installed. In fact, the report we received from the police was so impressive a week ago that one of the things we did as a thank you was to send each member of that crew a $50 gift card. Just to recognize them and let them know how appreciated they were. So we got a nice thank you note from that. But we are on track to turn the system on in the new year, and I will defer to City Manager, Deputy City Manager, any others who have anything to add.
I don't have exact numbers, but they are moving very fast. They expect to be done no later than maybe even this week. They may be done. Last number I had last week was 77 out of 144 pay stations installed. So there was a number this morning and I missed it. they're well over 100, so they're very close to being done. Then we follow up with a lot of signage, obviously, to reflect the new pay stations and parking areas or zones. But we're definitely on track to be fully operational by the new year, by January 2nd.
I actually do want to add to that and share some of the input the Deputy Director received. For businesses on Washington, they've actually said it's been a dramatic improvement of the parking along that street since we changed from the back end and since those meters were bagged, with many expressing to us an uptick of visitation and also sales. So we're already seeing immediate and direct impact from the actions that are undertaken, and I think it's a reasonable expectation for that to continue. Thank you.
All right.
I love it.
Anybody else have anything? Seeing none? What's the wishes of the board?
Make a call to close.
I have a motion by Director Keith to adjourn. Second by Director Dubuck. Anything else further? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes, and we are officially adjourned.
Thank you.